Okay, without any further ado, I'm Marky Billson. This is Tri-City Sports Now. Local story going on in the Tri-Cities is Buffalo Valley Golf Course, old Buffalo Valley Golf Course. I don't think it's going to be new and improved Buffalo Valley Golf Course. The residents of Unicoi, when they say, hey, we wanted to have a golf course around here. Yeah, we'll buy it. And they put up a figure that is, from what I saw, 1/7 of what the land is said to be worth. Well, that was, are you going to sell your house for 1/7 of what it was worth? Of course not. There are the problems with, the sewage plant or the power plant or whatever it is that's adjacent to the place. I wonder about the people who live in the Comfort Inn, to tell you the truth. I don't want those people put out on the streets. And, but anyway, what has been going on is that the Buffalo Valley Golf Course is owned right now by the city of Johnson City. Now, they've taken some fixtures off of it. Again, it's not going to be a golf course anymore. I mean, I think we can safely say they couldn't maintain it as a golf course. Who is, this knight in shining armor that is going to come? I know how to make golf courses work, especially when, let's face it, I mean, golf courses aren't what they used to be in popularity. It's sad but true, okay? They've got a big boom of them during the Tiger Woods era. Now, Tiger Woods can't qualify and all this, so, whatever. Anyway, City of Johnson City owns the property, so they've been taking topsoil from it. Because, as the city manager has said, of Johnson City, and that would be, let's see here, Pete Peterson. The topsoil has been hard to come by, and my goodness, they own it already. So why don't we just take the topsoil right now from Buffalo Valley, remove it, and put it where we need it. Like, any kind of public works project that involves backfilling or something. All right. And I understand exactly what they're saying. Of course, yeah, people are here saying, what are you doing, strip mining next to my house? That's what the people who own the property, the houses around the golf course. Bad enough it's not a golf course anymore. And say what you will about our offer, but we made one, and now, what are you doing to the land here, And, yeah, there's been some people, there is even a city official that has said we are not being, he says we're not going to be bad neighbors to the people that are around there, which seems to imply, let's stop taking the topsoil that we own, by the way, for our own use. Well, look, this is what it's boiled down. They've got to make a decision on the property here. And Michael Balleth, owner of the Johnson City Otters, has said, hey, look, let me develop this. Let me put in a soccer stadium, some fields. That hotel that right now is a bums hotel. And folks, I'm sorry. I've lived in bums hotels. So, I say that with a lot of affection. I hope that I am not, I hope I'm not offending you if you live there and all this, but it is not, it's not the millionaire living in a 5-star penthouse suite in a hotel who can, afford $1,000 a night or whatever for his property. And who can, but yeah, and I've actually stated on this show that I am not in favor of these people who is being put out onto the street. And I do think that Michael Balleth has come on this show, and I said, well, what are you going to do with those people there? You can't just evict them. You got to let them find their own places to live eventually and all this. And he didn't really have, he was disappointed. He said, boy, you caught me off guard with that one. Well, you better think about it. If you're thinking about buying that hotel as part of the property and refurbishing it for teams to stay at when they play at your redeveloped Buffalo Valley Golf Course for soccer fields. But I think the time is getting to be that we need to really consider that offer, which initially was rejected. We don't want that kind of noise there. Well, what kind of noise right now is going to happen if it's turned into a trailer park? What's it going to be? You can talk about building a subdivision there or something like that. But, again, I don't know. You really want to be in Unicoi, but officially Johnson City proper. Is that what you want? I mean, hey, it's out in the country. Get away from... Well, then if that's what you want, do you want to live in a subdivision? I mean, there aren't subdivisions. There's subdivisions in suburbs. We could argue that Unicoi is something of a suburb of, Johnson City, but it's not, technically that's not the case. And you start wondering what kind of a fit would that be? All I'm saying is this. I wonder about the future of the Johnson City Otters if they don't get their own yard. If they get their own yard, I think that they're here to stay. If they don't get their own yard, I think that they're gone. Because you can only rent out Kermit Tipton Stadium, which is a football yard, so much, especially when the city jerks the team around in terms of scheduling. Well, I know you had a night game here, but we got to use the facility, and heck, we own it. Now you're going to have to move your game time up. It becomes a hassle. I don't understand why ETSU doesn't rent out Summers Taylor to the Otters. Okay, yeah, well, we're worried about damaging the pitch. You got a month to resod the place. Is it that fragile? Really? In the middle of the summertime? I do want, a ball club, be it a soccer team, be it a baseball team, they need a park to play in. They need a yard, a stadium, a field, whatever you want to call it. And right now, when you're renting out a high school football field, you don't really have a yard. The Otters go, well, then there's some rather low-level soccer that leaves the area, yes, but it's made up of a lot of local players, A, and B, it's a growing sport that, well, in an area with, I think, some dubious sports fandom, it's a ball club that didn't make it, and you wonder if people will try again. Build the stadium at the old Buffalo Valley Golf Course, sell the property to develop, and you'll be able to have a cosmopolitan team, what it is, really not that big of a yard. He's talking about a 4,000-seat stadium. He was talking about, well, it's like 12 rows all around the place. It's not going to be all that big what I want to build. Okay. I'd like to see actually try to build on a little bit bigger. I'd like to see, like I said, I'd like to see the Tri-Cities go for something a little bit bigger than fourth-tier soccer. I'd like to see them go for second tier in the USL. Hey, Nashville going to have a USL team still after the MLS team comes in? It's possible, but seems to be oversaturation. So why not here? Why not a top 100 market? Especially if there is a facility. If you need to build onto it, well, there you go. But I do know some USL teams playing in 5,000-seat yards. I'm just, throwing that out there. And if you don't look for it, if you don't put a soccer facility, fields for soccer, lacrosse, rugby, and what have you, well, what becomes of the property? Is taking more topsoil off as the city wants it to? They've got to make a decision on it. They're going to be meeting city council tonight in Johnson City to discuss. Unfortunately, it's not necessarily going to be accepting an offer to buy the property. It's merely, should we use the topsoil that we own because the people around the property don't necessarily like it? This is not forward thinking. This is not cosmopolitan. This is not getting anywhere. I just, to me it seems so obvious. Anyway. Tri-City Sports Now, my remaining minute. in this, our first hour, has anybody realized that the Junior Basketball League is up and running? I was going to do a surf for the net, and LaMelo Ball, the baby of that clan, he's 16 years old, recently was able to improve his three-point shooting. He's actually playing 16-year-old. This is the Ball family's attempt to have a professional basketball league for up-and-coming players that obviously no one has heard of, but they don't want to play college basketball. It's said that Adam Silver, Colin Cowherd talks about this, also wants to build a developmental league. I think that that'll create kind of a divide between eventually college basketball and pro basketball, of where college basketball, not that it already isn't, but is really the sport of the heartland like around here, and pro basketball just becomes, you know, the big city sport, and that's where they care about it. It becomes almost cultish. It could be actually more profitable that way, though. But did anybody realize that that's still playing? Anyway, Ball can't hit a three-pointer. I'll tell you more about that when we return. I'll also give you really exciting Appalachian League news when we return.
WDMB Irwin.